it's very much about we want, people to walk away just feeling completely empowered and confident because, the way I always say it, if you're confident in the bedroom and can ask what you want in the bedroom, then you go out and you rule the rest of your life.
I'm Amy.
I'm April.
Certified sex educators, sexperts of the year, and best-selling authors.
And we're on a mission to help you have more spicy, connected, and amazing shameless sex.
Welcome to the Shameless Sex Revolution.
We're so close, it's like we have our own language. We're making sex and relationships shameless.
To learn more, go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off some of our favorite sex toys, use code SHAMELESSSEX at purepleasureshop.com.
You were listening to a pleasure podcast. For more from our sex podcast collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome back to the Shameless Sex Podcast. It's April, y'all. Welcome to April 2026.
Yeah, my favorite month.
Your favorite month. Yeah, it really, actually really is.
Yeah, I love April.
For the weather or
It's
the
like
vibes?
the beginning, the birds are chirping.
And you're going on
feel like
vacation.
I'm going, well, yes, that's not usually what happens in April, but I feel like winter's over and it's time. It feels sexy in the air.
The wildflowers are out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some parts of the country, they
Yes,
are.
yeah,
Some
we are-
parts it was
ours-
just like freezing last week.
I
so.
know, it's true. Ours here in California are popping. The
Oh, yeah.
lupins, it's so gorgeous.
And the poppies.
For some reason, wildflowers make me feel sexy too. There's something about the bright purples and pinks that kind of inspires. No wonder the bunnies are fucking in this season. There's something about it that feels a little sexy.
Yeah.
I don't
Don't
know.
roll in the wildflowers or you might get ticks everywhere.
I know. I was just in the wildflowers. I didn't get any ticks.
Well, that's good.
This episode is with repeat guest Emma Sayle. She was on episode 402, and that is forever ago because that was October 2024.
Oh, yeah.
We are, I don't even know. We're at 480 plus episodes now, by the way, because that doesn't include all the bonuses.
Right.
And so that episode was talking about sex parties, sex clubs, specifically what Killing Kittens does. They're located in the UK, but they do things globally. In this episode, we dive a little deeper to understand the difference between sex parties versus cruises versus retreats, sex party etiquette, how to prepare for sex parties, what to do when you're there, all the fun things. And we are going to be on their upcoming cruise in June in the Mediterranean.
Yeah, that's right. The Mediterranean, y'all.
I can't
we talk
wait.
about it on the show. And there might be 20 cabins left, but there
Yeah.
might be less. So there's still room if
Yeah.
you want to join. And there's more if you can't join in June. You can join. There's several. Some are booked throughout 2028.
I know, it's that
So,
popular.
Yeah, so check it out.
And
Killing
even
Kittens.
if you're not covering these cruises, this episode will have information for you for sex parties. If you're a sex party person, if you want to go or if you do go to sex parties, there is some good lessons in there for you as well. So stay tuned. It's really interesting. And it'll be the end of June when we're back, we'll share all about that cruise with you.
I think we're recording a podcast.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, exactly. We have a lot of good materials.
Well, that's true.
Are you ready for a sex question?
I think so. I'm ready.
Okay. It's a little on the longer side, but this person is very articulate. It's very well written.
Okay.
I am an over 80, 60 cis het penis owner in a 40-year monogamous relationship.
Wait, you said over 80, 60?
I am an over, did I say 80?
Yeah, you said over 80, 60.
What does that even
I don't
mean?
know. I was like, wait a second.
Okay, so this person's 60. Sorry.
Okay, got it.
I'm an over 60. I don't even know where 80 came from. That is odd. I am an over 60 cis het penis owner. I mean, that's a lot to say. In a 40-year monogamous relationship. So this is a over 60-year-old straight man who's
okay.
in a 40-year long monogamous relationship. My spouse recently said that she is no longer interested in sex, while I remain very interested in sex and do not want to give it up. We haven't had sex in over 10 years. Woo, a decade, no sex. So now I'm trying to educate myself around sex so that I can have an effective conversation and find solutions that do not harm our relationship. I expect therapy is in our future, but I would like any suggestions about ways to approach this conversation and how I might frame options for exploring the source of her disinterest. See, I told you, very articulate, very well
10
thought out.
years, though, this might be a triggering conversation for the partner.
10. So you've been together for 40 years, is monogamous, and for 10 years you have not had sex, and she's just telling you after 10 years that she's no longer interested in sex. But for 10 years you have not been having sex. So you probably have known.
Like, here's to hoping.
that she's, but
For 10 years.
But
Dang.
but
That's a
10
long time.
years.
No, it's
yeah.
a long time.
And so there's no insult to you at all. And and I really appreciate to this person that now you're like, okay, I'm trying to learn all the things. And it sounds like it's geared more towards having the conversation with her. There's some stuff I cut out because he actually did say, I didn't know Orpheus Black had this, but Orpheus Black has a quiz on his website. He's someone that's been on our show many times. He's an awesome educator. And he discovered more about this listener, his own sexuality through that. So he's trying to gather a lot of information to bring forward to have this conversation, not to try to convince this partner, hey, let's still have sex, but to have more of like, sounds like a negotiation.
That could be a scary conversation.
Totally.
Right.
Especially if someone's like, I'm no longer, but I'm super curious about that conversation. Your partner says, hey, so we haven't had sex in 10 years. I just want to let you know I'm no longer interested in sex. Like, was there anything else said around that? Like, the reasoning of the whys of that? It's just like, no, it's just not a part of my life anymore. Did you ask any questions? Is there any other information, not that you can share?
Could it be hormone related?
Yeah. So that's one thing, like in terms of having this conversation with them, you can't convince them and you don't, but your partner has more of the answers and maybe they don't have answers to, maybe they don't know. So the why, right? Like not like, why do you want to fuck me? But more like, hey, I know you said we haven't had sex in 10 years and now you're saying you're not interested at all. I still am. And I know though that I want to respect where you're at, but I'm curious, why is it that you're not interested in sex anymore? What is it? Hormones, right? With aging. If it's over 40 years of relationship, then I'm guessing your partner is also 60 and up. Hormones play a huge role in sexual desire, in libido, and all those things. So, is your partner have they had their hormones tested? Are they even open to HRT, hormone replacement therapy? Is it about the relationship? Do they feel disconnected from you? Like a lot of people, especially women, can lose interest in sex when they feel disconnected from their partner. They don't feel seen, understood, cared for. Their partner doesn't really want to like hear them or talk to them, but just wants to have sex with them. It all relates to a safety thing. Like April said, though, 10 years, like this is all stuff that's been going on for a long time. You said you think therapy is in your future. Therapy, I would say, probably has to be in your future in this case.
Perhaps not just talk therapy here.
Yeah.
Because sometimes talk therapy isn't enough. A lot of times it's not enough, especially if it comes to body stuff, where if it's something within your body, you're holding on to some trauma, or perhaps you're not even sure if your body's working like it used to when you were feeling sexual.
Yeah.
And that could be, and even working with your partner to find the ways you like to be touched together. But it is going to be a very personal solo journey for your partner, the one that is wanting to refrain from sexual contact.
Yeah. So when you are ready for that therapy, and I would suggest actually like that, even this initial conversation, I would suggest actually talking to your partner, asking them if they're open to seeing someone that specializes in sexuality for therapy. So licensed therapists have to be in your state, but you can work with sex and relationship coaches that are from all over. And so many of them work online. And Somatica is an amazing sex and relationship coaching training and practice that, like April said, is experiential. And you can still do this online. If you go to somaticainstitute.com, you can learn more. Celeste and Danielle, the creators of this, they still work with clients. They are amazing. They would be perfect. I think not perfect, but a great fit for you to work with.
Did we come out with the show they were just on yet?
Yep. Yeah,
okay.
that one's out.
That was
Dirty
a great
Talk.
Show.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So go to somaticainstitute.com. But if you don't work with them, on their website, there's all these other people that have done their training. Their training is coming up too. You could take their training as well if you really want to deep dive. But their training, if you want to become a sex and relationship coach, actually starts in a couple weeks. But I would just suggest but you're not telling your partner to do therapy, like, or coaching, like, are you open to this? I really want this relationship to work. I still want some sex and you don't. How do we put that all together? Okay. And then some other questions I had. Does she still have libido? Does she still masturbate? Because I would suggest that she still has some desire, but it maybe is more about actually engaging with you or with another person. Did she ever know what she liked in sex in the first place? Did you all ever have amazing sex?
Was she ever really sexual?
Was she ever super sexual?
That was what I was thinking
know.
too.
Yeah.
Some people just either...
They're like passive.
Or it could turn off and then it could turn back on.
Yeah.
It does take work, but sex toys, you could always try with sex toys. And I'm speaking to her right now, right? Because it could feel a little abrasive sometimes if your partner comes to you like, we
all
need
of a sudden
sex toys.
No, I wouldn't just surprise that. But I'm curious about, like, was she having when you were having sex, what was it like?
Orgasms,
Was she having a lot of pleasure? Was she having orgasm? Was she craving sex? Was she desiring it? Was she faking it? You might not have all these answers, but these might be harsh harsh realities to face, not blaming you, because a lot of people, she might not even know what she likes and never spoke up for or even tried to discover it. I don't know. And so this is where you're at right now. But sex toys are great. If she has a hard time having pleasure and orgasms, sex toys, if she's into that, are an easy avenue to pleasure and orgasms for pussy owners, especially the magic wand.
You don't even have to use it on your genitals.
Yeah.
You can use it on other parts of the body, like the magic wand specifically. There's just different sizes. If you don't want the larger, that could be compared to a baseball bat. It's not that big, but there's a mini, a micro, and there's a waterproof version, which is really great.
The waterproof is awesome.
It's because it's also more powerful. Like you might be like, what? There's something more powerful, but it's my favorite, by far my favorite wand I've ever used, and by far my favorite magic wand, and I have every single one.
Yeah.
And
it's great for people who have a hard time having an orgasm too.
Totally.
It's almost like, I'm going to say guaranteed orgasm, but it's almost guaranteed
orgasm. You can put it over the
orgasm.
clothes if you don't want something
It's
on
that strong.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
you can get that at purepleasureshop.com. Use coupon code ShamelessSex. You get 15% off.
Which is a really good deal.
Yeah.
And that's all the time. That's
all the
just
time.
for our listeners.
Not just magic wands,
And
all
then
the toys.
Also, this is something like, don't think of this as anything but continuing education, but Erica Lust, Erica with a K, Lust, this is something that you can look at. She is a filmmaker, and she has a documentary category and other categories as well, which this is, think of it as an erotic film, but educational film that isn't porn necessarily. It could be categorized as porn, but it's not porn, because I don't want people's brains to shut off being like, ew, I'm not going to show my partner porn if they're not sexual. But it's continued education. I love the fact that it's something it's not just entertainment. It's actually, you can learn from it.
Yeah. Well, and she has, so like you can learn from all of her films, but the documentary category is actual sex ed classes that are wonderful porn actors.
It's not, but it's not just, it's not lecturing.
No, you'll get turned on and you're actually watching the things happen. And so I wouldn't surprise her with this. This would be more like maybe you go and do this to learn on your own. You get turned on, or if she's open to it, you can maybe watch together. And they have everything from, in the documentary category, films about sexting, oral sex, positions, pleasure mapping, massage, anal sex, right? So you're actually learning and getting turned on by watching the films. They're so well done. So beautiful.
It's so well done. It's editorial. It's beautifully shot. There's so many different categories, so you can find something that you're interested in.
Yeah.
And if you want 45% off, that's right, I said 45% off.
Yep.
Who doesn't want that much off on anything? Go to ericalust.com, and that's Erica with a K, and then use code shameless at checkout, and you'll get 45% off. And we love Erica Lust. She's been on the show before. You can check out her episode.
I was watching her porn the other day. It's good.
Of course. That's all I watch.
And in her educational videos, I mean, I don't know everything about sex. I get turned on and learn at the same time. Two birds, one stone. Love it. Lastly, you were talking about having this conversation. We kind of already lightly talked about this. We have an entire chapter in our book called Shameless Sex, about communication. Is all about how to talk about sex and relationships. And it's completely normal for that to be really challenging for you, especially if you've been with someone for so long and you haven't had these kind of conversations. We talk in the book about the difference between a big ask and a small ask. This is a big conversation. This means this is an outside of the bedroom conversation. This is when people are in good spirits. Their energy level is decent or high. They're not stressed out. You're not in a hurry. Ideally, you're connected. And that's when you're asking permission to have a challenging conversation. You don't do a drive-by. Hey, we have to talk about this really scary thing. Say, hey, there's something that's really important to me that I've been thinking about. Are you open to having this conversation right now? And then you're sharing more from the me and the I, as we talk about. And as you probably know, not you do this, you. You're just going to create a defensive person. And there's a whole formula in our book called Connect. It's an acronym, and I won't explain what it all stands for, but it's easy steps to have these harder conversations. And some of the gold in it is for you to be curious. Don't forget, curiosity is like so important, and being a great listener, obviously, but be really curious about your partner's unique experience, not what you think their experience is or what you've experienced their experience as. What is their experience now, today? If they don't have a lot of information to share with you about what they want or don't want, what they're into or not into, you can share, okay, well, here's me. What do you think about that? And that can kind of open up more conversation, more inspiration maybe in their brains to be more inquisitive with themselves. Or if you start to have the conversation, doesn't go well, say, okay, how about we work with someone so we can at least start talking about this stuff? It doesn't even need to be about fixing things right away, but more about like just working with someone to have a safe place to have these hard conversations. But I would have that in your arsenal already, like that support system there, because like April said, 10 years of no sex, and now you're really addressing it. That's a big leap, and I'm glad you're doing that. But it could be an edgy conversation.
Yeah. Be gentle with yourself.
Be gentle with yourself, and maybe have your own support. Do you have your own therapist? Do you have someone else that can support you? What if your partner says, no, I'm just done. I don't want to have sex. I'm never going to have sex with you again. You don't need to know the answer to that, but that's when working with someone on your own, and then also for both of you, can help you to figure out, okay, well, now what do you do? What are the ways you can still maybe hopefully be together and lean into each other where someone isn't bypassing their needs?
Yeah.
So good luck to you, and thank you for reaching out, though. That's awesome, and for doing your work on your end.
And if you really feel like you want to get wild, go to one of the Killing Kittens
That's
retreats.
a big leap. I like it.
Retreats or cruise. Yeah, you never know. You don't have to do anything. You'll learn about what you.
I bet
you don't have to do anything.
I bet that would be awesome. I bet it would be. No matter, even if you went there and didn't have sex,
Get out of your comfort
you would
zone.
leave there transformed in some way.
Exactly, and we'll be there. So we'll be at the June one. So listen up, because here's Emma's bio, everyone. Emma Sayle is the founder of Killing Kittens, also known as KK, a platform that curates glamorous, hedonistic events, parties, cruises, and retreats. What began as a bold reimagining of social spaces for women has grown into a 200,000 plus strong international community spanning events, digital platforms, and immersive experiences across the UK, US, and Europe. To learn more, go to wearekk.com.
All right, everyone, it is interview time, and we are here with repeat guest Emma Sayle. She was on our show. It was so long ago. It was October 2024, episode 402, and we were talking about sex parties and sex cruises and just glamour meets light hedonism events, also full-blown sex parties that Killing Kittens puts on and has been doing for a while, and they do with style.
That's when she invited us.
I know.
In 2024.
It was that long ago.
I know. I can't believe it was 2024.
I can't
It feels
either.
like yesterday.
I remember that we were like, well, that's really far away, but we are going to put it in our calendar, because what we're talking about is we are going on Killing Kittens cruise in June 2026. And that's only a couple months away from when this episode is coming out. And I believe there's actually some space there, and we'll be teaching on the cruise ship. And we'll talk more about that in a second. We'll get there.
There might be space. I mean,
we'll find out in a second.
Limited.
Yeah. And that's not the only cruise that they do. But before we dive into all of that, Emma, can you tell us and our listeners a little bit more about how you got into the field of sexuality?
Well, out of anger, really. So I didn't kind of work in that industry. It was more, hang on a minute, why can boys do whatever they want sexually and there's no shame and judgment, and we can't, and it's really complicated, and our brains are just sort of packaged into this like shame, and so sod it. Yeah, I'm going to launch basically the world I wish I lived in, which was age 25, like nearly 21 years ago, and launch that world where everything's flipped on its head. So only women make the first moves, and men, can only come if they're invited by women. And just kind of, I think when I look back at it, exactly that kind of the world of this insecure 25-year-old that didn't like getting naked in bright light. And felt so much shame and judgment when it came to sex. Just wished I lived in. So decided to create it, and that was Killing Kittens, which was sort of mass parties to start with for about 45, 50 people the first couple of months, and then it just sort of snowballed.
And talk about why you call it Killing Kittens, because people, when we've talked about going on the cruise, we're like, it's Killing Kittens. There's no kittens being killed, everyone. It's just called Killing Kittens. And you have a great, I feel like, naming story. So will you tell our listeners about that?
So it's slang for every time you masturbate, God kills a kitten. So if you're killing a kitten, you're having a wank. And it was satire, really. And I was on Ibiza and hadn't slept for 3 days, and someone just phoned into this wedding and just said, "Are you guys just sat around killing kittens at the moment?" And it was that kind of, I don't know, just something in my head went, I love that. And the 2Ks, it's always been KK, and I'm a Brit, and British humor is just dark and twisted, and it's funny because the only emails we get just saying that is disgusting and that is cruel and it's you should be ashamed of yourself, comes from a lot of Americans. I think it is that.
Yeah.
It's
we'll take the blame.
So sensitive.
Those pilgrims.
So sensitive. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, like don't take everything so literally, everyone. And we're so excited to have you back on the show. You're such a world traveler, and you've been putting on and hosting parties and Killing Kittens as a whole. But like what we want to talk about on this show, and we get a lot of listeners writing us about sex parties, what are sex parties, and also not what are sex parties, but what is like, why is there so much rage, all the rage around sex parties? Is it a fad? It's 2026, but is it just a fad? Is it something that is growing in popularity? And why do you think people are so into sex parties?
Do you know what? It's not a fad. I mean, they've been sex parties and like the likes of, parties that have sex. They've, they're thousands of years old. It's been going on since the dawn of day. And, you've got Roman orgies, you've got, Kenyan 1940s, you've got, all the roaring 20s, I think what has happened is sort of when it comes to sexuality, it's become more, that's snowballed and that's become more open and that's become more accepted. And therefore, the parties where sex is going on have, they've gone from the underground and judgment worlds and the kind of the fringes into the mainstream and into, well, so what? Kind of, they're just parties. And if we want to go and explore our sexuality and sleep with someone, then so be it. And then that then goes hand in hand with women becoming, much more freer and less shame and judgment when it comes to sex and being okay. I said KK is going to be 21 years this year. So watching the way women are now, and they'll openly, most of the time go, yeah, we went to a KK party, and there's a lot more openness to it than when we launched, where you didn't talk about it and people were embarrassed to admit going, and it's sort of become a much a bit cool and more mainstream. And so I don't think it's nothing's happening that hasn't happened before. It's just people know about it, know about it more, and go, actually, that sounds like fun, and it's more mainstream and it's more accessible.
Yeah, and it's more accessible now too to go and discover what kind of parties out there, and there's so many different ones. But
okay, Amy, real talk. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact that we get to talk about semen volume at work?
Well, it's our job, and here's the deal. Load Boost is a doctor-formulated supplement designed to increase semen volume, pre-cum volume, and even improve the taste. Yes, the taste.
Your partner will notice. Your orgasms will feel better. It's a whole vibe, y'all. And VB Health has a simple mission. Create supplements that work. Everything is science-backed, third-party tested by two separate labs, and made right here in the USA.
Oh, and they just dropped a brand new energy boost supplement. I love it. I love it. I love it. A science-packed pre-workout I'm genuinely excited about. And it's clean. It's jitter-free. I promise you, it's energy that doesn't have that coffee crash I try to avoid. I hate that. Think mental clarity and focus that lasts. Because VB Health isn't just into sexual health. They make top quality supplements across the board.
Always raising the bar with the latest research. VB Health, we just love the brand that keeps leveling up. Visit loadboost.com and use code shameless right now for 10% off. That's loadboost.com. Use code shameless for 10% off right now. The link is in the episode description.
I would imagine 2,000 years ago, groups of people were still getting together and having gangbangs and stuff. Okay. So I don't think that it's brand new. And I know yours aren't all about gangbangs, but the group sexual vibes I don't think is just a new thing. But like you said, it's more accessible. We're more aware of it, and there's more variety. And let's get to the variety part, right? So there's a lot of people, there's all kinds of sex parties out there. There's some that are more for swingers. There's a lot of those can be more about the male gaze, which I know is yours is not. And you were inspired to create this not based on that, but related to that. It's not just so that men get to see hot women in lingerie. So what are Killing Kittens parties all about? And let's just start with the actual parties. We'll move to the cruises and things in a little bit. But Killing Kittens parties in the clubs. Who are they for? What are they like? And what are they doing for people? How are they walking away?
They are, since day one, I've always said sex is the byproduct. So if you set the scene and they're aimed at women that to start with, and their partners. So it's always been very inclusive of men, but that femme energy and what do women want, and our biggest sex organ is our brain. So how do we turn that on? And you set the scene. So everything's always and still is setting that scene, and the touch, the feel, the smell, the ambience, the lighting, the immersive, the performances. And then if women feel comfortable and confident and empowered, then they might want to have sex. So it's always been the kind of, to me, that's the byproduct. It's not the bit we focus on. We focus on everything else. And it's it's making the women feel comfortable and in control, and having the power, and in that kind of very safe environment. And actually it's now, it's got a lot deeper, and we get a lot more sort of the midlife women, kind of the mid-30s plus, who are just going, actually, hang on, we want a voice. And we've spent the whole time doing everything for everyone else, and, coming out of divorces, and or deciding that actually they'd quite like to sit with women. And so it's sort of, there's a lot of kind of bits to it. And a lot of women come in groups of women and just, they dancing around in their lingerie, and that, that's if I'm just watching the dogs climb around your neck.
I know, yeah, there were dogs howling all around her.
And that's empowering enough. That's the bit. So it's very much about we want, people to walk away just feeling completely empowered and confident, because, the way I always say it, if you're confident in the bedroom and can ask what you want in the bedroom, then you go out and you rule the rest of your life. You can ask for pay rises, you can own the boardroom, and that's it. It just sort of, that's bedroom to boardroom. It all flows into one, basically.
That's the thing. It's a space where there's no judgment, and you're free to be who you are. You're not expected to do anything. I think that's what people get caught up in when you say it's a sex party. And we're not calling Killing Kittens, when we've talked about it on our show with the cruises, at least we're not saying like, oh, it's a sex party and you're expected to have sex. Like, I'm going with my partner, Amy's going with her partner. We're doing some sessions, and there's different various, like, there's amazing instructors that are going to be on the boat as well. And you have many cruises, but will you talk about, I guess, like what these cruises are? Because I feel like you've talked about what you walk away with, but like, how does this experience being on a Killing Kittens cruise per se, how is it different from other parties that are out there?
I think, as like, I said, we say it's a byproduct. Sex is a byproduct. So it's a lot of, the majority of the sex parties out there and the setups out there, and some of the cruises out there, it's people are going to and it's a sex cruise. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's a big swinging setup. It's much, they're very sort of, this is what it is. This is what is expected. This is, that's the sex is happening. Where ours is, we position more like hedonists. It's hedonism. It's people who, the hedonists in the world who basically aren't happy with just sort of sitting in a bubble and in boring jobs, and they're the ones who launch the businesses and want to climb mountains and jump out of airplanes and travel and do adventure races, and and food and wine and just and try new things. It kind of that mindset of, you have one life and let's go and explore and experiment, goes then obviously into the bedroom as well. So it's, so for our cruises, there's no pressure. And I've got, a couple of friends coming, and they don't take their clothes off. And they, in the same way they come to some of the parties, and some, newly single, sort of just divorced girlfriends of mine, and because they're like, there's no pressure. There's no pressure to get naked. There's no pressure to have sex. And actually, it's a really cool bunch of people that they've become friends with, can hang out with in the daytime. You get off the boat, you can go to the beaches, you can do what you do on normal cruises. There's the workshops, and it's not just adult workshops. There's wine tasting. There's yoga up on the decks in the morning. It's sort of, the daytime stuff is just sort of like the normal cruise stuff. It's not a case of there's going to be people shagging on all the sunbeds around you when you're on there all day long. That's the bit, at nighttime. Then we have the Killing Kittens, so the party concepts from the mansion, kind of black tie, all to there's red party, there's white party, a big cabaret with an amazing show going on. And then there's one of the big rooms is the playroom, which does have the beds in, but that won't open till later. So it's not a case of that's open all day long and knock yourselves out. And so it's sort of, that's what is different in that, the sex bit, it's not in your face. It's if you want to do it, go for it, but it's not it's not what we focus on. It's what sort of, we focus on everything else. Mm-hmm. And that bit sort of, if we do everything else right, then people will feel empowered and, want to have more sex. So,
and it's not a mix of random people, right, on the boat. There's like, everybody's there for Killing Kittens. It's not like, oh, hey,
like strangers.
It's pure Killing Kittens. Everyone's comes through KK. Everyone knows why they're there. And there's a mixture of like couples and some single women on it. And
so that was a question I was going to ask. So it's couples and single women, but single men can't come on their own?
No.
Okay. Yes, that's what I figured. And for people listening, if you don't know the reason why, can you explain the reason why that is?
Because the whole premise of KK was to have women at the center and the power and that femme energy. So it's always been women are the members and they can invite guests to come, and that dynamic makes it what it is. And if there's a lot of cruises out there and other setups out there for that single men can go on. So it's sort of, we're very unapologetic about this is who we are and this is who we're for, and you don't like it.
Yeah.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like anti-man. And I've been to sex
we
parties.
love men. We love men. It's just balancing out.
Exactly.
Balancing out that
100%. And there's something about, if you go to a sex party and there's more women than men, as a woman, I will feel safer than if there's more men than women. Just as a woman, that's just how I feel. It just changes the energy. So love men, love dick, but it's to create a specific energy and vibe. And so, okay, so sex parties, and I remember last time you were here, you do them. Sometimes it's like up to like 700 people in like a megaplex or something, right? They can be huge. And that's like a one night experience. The cruise is like a live-in experience, which is, to me, sounds kind of like a retreat on water. And we do our own retreats that are live-in retreats at Shameless Sex. Our couples retreat is actually sold out. So if any couples that want to come to ours, come with us on Killing Kittens in June, because you can't come to ours in October.
Yeah. Halloween. They have a Halloween.
Yeah. So let's get to that one. So now the retreats, how does that differ? The Halloween retreat sounds epic. How does that differ from a cruise or a sex party that you're throwing?
It's like the cruise. That's the thing. It's sort of, we just did our Valentine's retreat, and it was 3 nights, and the workshops, and there's cabaret night. There was a drink section one night, cabaret dinner one night, big like black tie ball the next night. So that was very much, and we were trying things out that is basically going to replicate it on the cruise. So the retreat and the cruise it's as you said, it's a retreat on water, and you can go, there's a lot of different workshops going on, and you just sign up to the ones you want to do. If you don't want to do any, you don't do them. If you want to walk around in a robe all day, if stay in your cabin all day and just come to the parties, if you just want to do the day stuff and not come to the parties, it's the retreats and the cruise are very much the same thing. And the Halloween one will be the same with the 3 nights and, the big Halloween cabaret dinner. And then we always have like a big birthday ball. That's our,
Where is this the retreat? I just saw it. Just kind of looked like the Halloween. Because April and I were like, oh, this looks so exciting. Can you tell us more about like what that looks like?
It's in a big sort of mansion hotel. It's in Berkshire, which is kind of the county west of London. So it's literally you can get out to it in 45 minutes from central London on trains and things. So it's in the countryside, but it's a big kind of stately home mansion hotel that we take over.
Sounds completely. Like not completely related, Eyes Wide Shut, but like for something about like walking in that room kind of feels like
the venue wise, that old school kind of British stately home kind of mansion vibe is that venue. So
and there are people from all over, right? There's like, obviously there's going to be a lot of, because you have a lot of UK community. I know that you have US folks too, even though the ones that take it literally won't be showing up, but hopefully the ones that aren't, they'll be there. So it's a mixture. And then I'm assuming other European people, or is it just a melting pot of people from all over?
It's a total melting pot. I mean, our events get a total melting pot. I mean, we do Venice every year, and I was out there this year, and that's only 100 people. I mean, we counted 13 different nationalities out of 100 people. So it's a lot of people. It's so easy to travel, isn't it? It's so easy to jump on planes, and so we get, we've got a couple of people coming over from Australia. Got like quite a few coming up from the US this time, and then obviously it's in Barcelona, Spain. So that the whole of Europe can hit it. So all over.
Get some hot Spaniards. Yeah. I'll take it. So let's move on to something, because you 21 years you've said you created this beautiful platform, Killing Kittens. And that's what I call it, a platform, because I feel like it's so diverse. But if you could give our listeners maybe that are wanting some tips, like 3 top tips from you, Emma, about sex party etiquette, what would those tips be? And is there is there going to be something different for a party if it's related to a cruise versus a retreat, or versus, just a party?
I like the way you said party.
I think there's like one assumption people have is, if you're going to a sex party, it's like everyone's up for it. In the same way, like you get that reaction sometimes if, like, I've got some friends who are lesbians, and it's sort of, they say they're a lesbian, so women, and there are some women that just assume they want to sleep with them, and you're like, well, you're not. When you're straight, you're not, just because someone's a man doesn't mean you're going to want to sleep, with them. Is that kind of, don't
from men
assume
say that about gay men. They're like, gay men, like, what if they want to fuck me?
You must want to
what
shag
if you're
me?
not
like,
their type? Okay, come on, don't be that full of yourself.
Thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's that kind of sudden assumption. Oh gosh, she's a lesbian, she wants to sleep with me. It's like, what?
Stupid.
She probably does. It's
probably true.
But no, I mean, come on. No, so there's that kind of, you've got to remember that it's the same, rules as when you go to a bar or a club, or you cannot assume that. Don't be really forward. Don't, just it's that respect, isn't it? Have that respect and consent the same way you would when you're out. Just because there's going to be sex going on, don't assume. And then to be honest, if it's your first one, I would say it's like, I always say about KK, it's like, we obviously have a wax platform, and that's, it has all the chat rooms and the groups you can join. And I always say, just get in the groups, get in the, we always do a pre-party chat group, which can have hundreds of people in, but you can only enter it if you've bought a ticket. And that opens like 2 weeks before an event, and you can get chatting and ask questions, and you can just get a vibe of people. And you're going to be having loads of people in there who've been to loads for years, so they know, and newbies in there. So it kind of, I always say do that research beforehand. And if there are other ones out there that has online stuff, you can be in the community side of it. So I would say get into that. And then at the same time, when I said about don't assume everyone fancies you and, is a sure thing, in the same way, when you do go into playrooms, just because someone's right in front of you having sex, it does not mean that, that you have a right to touch them, or, force yourself, or think that it's game just because you can see a vagina just staring at you. It's sort of, it does, there's not, it does not mean entry. So it's that, do you know what, it's basic respecting consent are the kind of the main parts to it. And if it is your first one, then just get a feel for it. And at the same, also, you've got to remember, most people come with a partner or another half a lot of the time, and just have the conversations before you go about what the rules are and because it's sort of, just because you've agreed to go to a party doesn't mean that you're open to everything. Mm-hmm. So that can cause confusion if you haven't really communicated beforehand what you're willing to accept and not accept the other half doing. So, and then if you're still, if you're not sure, then the first one, just say, look, let's go there and say, let's not get involved. Let's soak it all in, like voyeurism, kind of that kind of thing. And just keep checking in with each other. Mm-hmm. That's it. And you've got to both be sort of in for it. Yeah. You can't assume just because you've got the tickets and you've entered the zone that it's sort of a free for all.
Yeah, I like that, and that's why I like the idea. I mean, I like just sex parties as a one night thing, but the cruises and the retreats, you have the live-in experience. A lot more can happen there, including like the transformation, whether it's just for yourself or in the partnership, and whether you're going to the workshops or not. There's just more juiciness and transformation that I think can come out of it. Okay, real talk. We've been waiting to tell you about this one, the magic wand, but waterproof.
Yes, that's right. My favorite vibe ever. And it's waterproof, as in shower, bath, hot tub, pool. Honestly, wherever water goes, this baby goes. Imagine warm water cascading down your back, wand on your shoulders, melting away tension, then slowly drifting, that favorite zone.
Or partner play in the tub, taking turns tracing every single erogenous zone while gravity just disappears. It's not a toy, it's a ritual, a whole sensory experience. And here's the thing, Magic Wand doesn't chase trends. They've released 6 models in 50 years because when something is iconic, you don't fix what isn't broken.
See why Wire literally called it the most iconic vibrator on Earth. We are not arguing. Built to last, costs pennies per orgasm over its lifetime. Honestly, best investment you'll ever make. Facts, It's better than my 401k.
Yes, it is. And get the new and improved Magic Wand Waterproof for 15% off right now with coupon code SHAMELESSSEX on purepleasureshop.com. That's right. The best wand in the world that's also waterproof for 15% off at purepleasureshop.com with coupon code SHAMELESSSEX.
Newsflash, everybody. We are picky about our lubes.
Can we say uber picky?
Yes, we can. And let me tell you all why Uber Lube is our absolute favorite lube ever. Uber Lube is a luxurious silicone lubricant that I want all over my body. Yes, it's designed for sex because it enhances intimacy while allowing you to still feel the skin-on-skin contact, but it feels so good that I want it everywhere. Uber Lube is long-lasting, leaves your skin feeling velvety smooth, and it's there when you want it, but then it dissipates when you're done.
Yes. Aside from using Uber Lube for all of my sexy sessions, and I use it all the time, I also use it for massages, for my hair frizzies, to prevent chafing, and it brings out the color of your beautiful tattoos. Thousands of doctors and therapists in the U.S. alone are recommending Uber Lube to their patients because it's body-friendly, less likely to change the pH, and has vitamin E, so it feels moisturizing on the skin. Uber Lube has no flavor or scent, which means it's also great for oral sex. And it comes in a beautiful glass bottle with a pump top, which means easy access to Pleasure Town.
Want to see why we think Uber Lube is the best lube in the world? Then go to uberlube.com and use discount code SHAMELESS to get 10% off and free shipping. Again, that's uberlube.com right now with code SHAMELESS for 10% off and free shipping.
But we get this a lot, even just for our retreats. And our retreats are not, I mean, I guess we could say they're light hedonism, but there isn't a playroom or anything like that. So, but people often ask, like, you know, the preparation part can be scary. Like, I don't know, like what, and they also ask about the outfits a lot, that the costumes outfit, like, what do I wear is a huge thing. So for those newbies, let's say it's people that are coming to, let's talk about the cruise. They're coming to the cruise. There's a playroom there and there's theme nights there. But for those people who are a little scared, and they're like, I don't know, like, what do I wear? How do I prepare for this? What advice do you have for them?
We just for all our events, we always have like mood boards and like Pinterest kind of loads of, you know, galleries you can go and look at to get inspiration and stuff. But I always say, even if you say, oh, I've got friends like, well, we're not getting involved, we're not getting naked, and I'm like, just be prepared. Just, you know, do not turn up unless it's your thing and you're into like massive bushes. Just be prepared. You know, just come in good lingerie under the dress you're wearing, because you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. You might say you're not going to, and I've seen people do that. They're like, no, and then they're like, shit, we've got our big granny pants on. And we haven't had a wax. We haven't had a wax in like a year, and we were not expecting to get involved. But yeah.
And do you do consent preparation for people too? Like, what is? I mean, it's a woman led and primarily, but I know that Amy's been to a lot of sex parties, and there's almost education or some kind of course that goes on before about this is okay, this is not, or is it more or less like when you're entering in, the community is already briefed on that? Like, what does that look like?
It's kind of, we have it. I mean, we do a lot of the workshops we do online anyway, cover that. We do like play party etiquette and stuff like that. And then at the same time, it's like when you enter the community, sign up as a member, then you have a sort of a form, you feel like an NDA, then not an NDA, but the privacy thing, and that covers the rules and the etiquette and consent. And then when you then go on and buy a party ticket, you get sent a whole email with that again. When you come on the cruise, you'll be sent exactly the same, you know, the expectations and the etiquette that we expect. So, and then often we'll have like sort of the big kind of banners and on the entering like playrooms at the big events, which again has etiquette on there. So we have all that, and then we have what we call community kittens, our comms, who will all wear the same thing, and we'll have the same. They're on the cruise as well. I think we might have about 20 of them on the cruise, if not more, and they'll all be wearing the same thing. They've got day dress and night dress, so everyone will know who they are, like the red lit up armbands, and they're aware of what's going on and on the lookout for if anyone has any problems, or if people suddenly don't feel comfortable, you know, someone suddenly, you know, gets nervous drinks and thinks, crap, I'm just feeling a bit vulnerable or something, then they're all around to go and speak to.
Wait, so wondering about privacy, because that's something that I think about when I enter into a space that could be a little bit more talking about like the experimentation. It's an experiential situation that you might not want yourself being recorded by someone sneakily
or
behind
even
your back.
Just sharing your name.
Yeah. So I'm wondering about privacy, how that's respected, how it's honored, because I don't like pictures of me taken without my knowledge. And I mean, I'm kind of a snatch about that, if you will. I don't know if that's a British term, but a little cunt about it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
I'm with you. The well, we have that at the parties, and we always have since day one is like a no phone policy. So and we have like magnetic like holders with so that your phone goes in one of the pouches, and you can only when you leave we undo the pouch, so you can't get into it. So we have that at all our events already. When it comes to the cruise, it's there's a line like during the day if you're up on the deck. Obviously, people are going to be like just sort of on their phones if they're sunbathing and stuff, but very much the evening events, the events where there is vulnerability, like workshops, there's not going to be phones. So it's going to be the same with that, and that will be policed in the same way we do our events. But people are going to be sat at breakfast just scrolling through their emails. That's sort of allowed.
Well, and adding just to the etiquette part for people listening, like, or Shameless Sex, the podcast is an example. April and I, you listen to us, you can go and tell anyone, Amy and April said this about their sex lives. And when we have guests, you can say anything about them because they are sharing that with you. But you'll notice as a listener, we never use people's names when like we'll talk about like an ex-partner or I have a friend who, right? Like they're like, so there's that could because we're respecting people's privacy. And so that's another thing with sex party etiquette is like, even if they didn't say this, you didn't sign a form, there wasn't in a consent talk, just be respectful or think of it. How would that affect you? Like if someone were to go out and be like, oh my God, I saw April being railed on the end of the cruise ship. I know that there's a playroom and people aren't fucking all over the cruise ship, but I saw April in the playroom getting railed by 3 women and it was so hot. But you didn't get April's permission, right? Because that in itself is linked to shame, because then if other people have judgments, it comes back to April or whoever that person is, right? So just whatever you can do to make being a sexual person more safe for everyone will create just a better world, obviously, honestly. So we've learned a lot about all these different pieces here. And we said this in the beginning, but we didn't get the answer. Mm-hmm. We're not sure if this Mediterranean cruise in June is sold out or not, but I know I know there's already a cruise coming up in 2027. So can you share more about all of the pieces that are coming up? What is available? All the funsies?
Yeah. So we're not sold out yet for this June. I think we're heading up to nearly 90% sold out. So I think we've got 30 cabins left for the one in June. I think there's just over 300. So there'll be about 650 people on it. So we've sold over 250, 270 probably cabin. So there's still space for this one, and that's going out Barcelona, like Portofino, Monte Carlo, where the Grand Prix is.
We're so excited.
And then down to Mallorca. I love Mallorca. I got married in Mallorca. So down to like Mallorca and then back to Barcelona. So it's like a circle. Next year in 27, that one is the Mediterranean again, but it's out of Dolce Vita. So it's like out of Venice. So it's like Venice, and you go down, you've got Greece and Montenegro and Croatia. And so that side of the Mediterranean. So that's selling well. So that's on sale and doing well. And then what we've got in 28, we've got 3 in 28. So we've got a super yacht. So the super yacht just has like 60 suites on it. So it's only suites. So that's about 120 people. And we've got one. Oh, I'm going to totally screw this up. I want to say Caribbean, but I don't know if it is Caribbean. No, maybe probably not. It's over your way. I can't remember which
somewhere
way.
Near the US.
Mind blank.
Mind blank. Yeah.
Yeah, this is me being crap. So that's like January time. Then we've got one in May, the super yacht one as well, but that's sold out because that actually includes the Formula One.
The 2028, that's already sold out.
So 28 May is sold out. And then we've got a big one again, like with a 600 person one, and that one we called East of Eden, and that we've released. It's like November 28th, and that's like out of Hong Kong. So that's like Asia. The Asia route, that side. So so they're all the ones. Yeah. So there's something for everyone. And the January one, which is over nearer your way, and that's just the suites. That is about 120 people on that one on a super yacht. Where's Necker Island?
That's a good question. I don't know.
It's around there.
Okay.
It's around there.
See, yeah,
Okay.
maybe
Well,
it
yeah.
isn't. Yeah. Well, after this, we're going to
in
Google
that
that.
area.
Yeah, you got
I've
something.
just literally I've just got I've got a complete mind blank.
Now I want to know. That's okay.
So yeah,
you're ahead of us by many hours, like 8 hours, I think, or 9 hours. So thank you for recording so late. And so how can people find more about the cruises? We have a link on our website, shamelesssex.com. But if you want to hear about more events with Killing Kittens, if you want to be a part of the community, if you want to sign up for a retreat, if you want to sign up for the cruise, if you just want to be in the know, maybe even get on a wait list for the 2028 event that's already sold out, which is congratulations. That's impressive. How can people find more of your work and Killing Kittens?
Well, do you know what? That's the beauty of having a name like Killing Kittens. You just put it into Google and it's you get about 6 pages worth of all our stuff. So if you just Google Killing Kittens, it will come up. Or, we've got several sites. They're all linking to each other. wearekk.com, that has all the bits on it. They're like cruises and retreats, .com. So yeah, if you literally Instagram put in Killing Kittens, if you put in Killing Kittens, you're going to get trafficked into, the whole setup, which has everything on it, from the cruises, the retreats, the parties, to the wax, the main website community side of it. So
I love
it.
We're
so excited.
And Necker Island is the BVIs. That's what I thought.
Yes.
The BVIs.
There it is, BVIs. We're not actually going. Yeah,
Okay.
we're not getting off of Necker Island at the moment. But it is that area. So yeah, BVIs.
So gorgeous there. Yeah,
I'll
April's
be there.
Going there.
In 2 weeks.
April's going there.
I've never been.
Amazing.
Never been.
Well, it won't be.
And apparently, I have to go on all of them, which I'm like,
oh, sorry for
Poor
you.
you.
I don't need to go on them, and they're like, no, you have to go on them. I'm like, oh no.
Like every
and then I can say
one.
to my kids, Mommy's working.
Yeah,
sorry.
Mommy's at the beach working.
Beautiful Caribbean sunset.
Light hedonism.
Yeah. Sorry.
Mommy's job sucks. Oh my God. I'm so excited. We are so honored and I can't believe that it's actually happening, considering we talked about this like a year and a half ago. And we just, we
signed off on it, didn't we?
Yeah.
When we spoke, I was like, you should come on it.
We're like, okay, yeah. And then now it's happening and we're so excited. We don't know. We know we're teaching workshops. We have some ideas of what those are, but so we're going to be a mixture of working a little bit, but for us, that's not really work. We love it. And then so if you come, you get to also just hang out with us and the rest of the Killing Kittens crew and other amazing educators like Dr. Tara is going to be there. Super excited to spend time with her. She's incredible. So yeah, we can't wait. Everyone go to the link in the show notes. Just click on that. It will take you all to the Killing Kittens website and you get all the information. And if you can't join us in June, as she said, there's so many other opportunities coming up, but sign up soon because they're selling like in years in advance.
People need a vacation. They need a holiday.
A sexy one too.
Yeah, I hadn't realized how far ahead people book cruises and stuff. I'm that last minute person that literally books holiday for like 2 months ahead, going, okay, right, I can make that date.
Yeah.
I still have to get my flights too.
In 2 weeks?
Yeah. No, not for that one, but for June.
Yeah, me too. I need to do that. I was on my note to do today.
And gas prices are going up. So I'm like, oh shoot, I got to do this ASAP.
Damn it.
Oh,
well.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Emma, you are so fantastic. We can't wait to see you in person in June. For all of our listeners out there, go and check out Killing Kittens. No, it's not going to track you to think that you're some killer of kittens. It's going to track you to these fabulous parties that are branded and launched for you because there's a niche out there that people that don't want to feel like icky or yucky when they go to sex parties. They want to feel empowered. They want to be their most glamorous, beautiful sexual selves. And that's empowerment. And that is empowerment in its brightest form. So thank you to Killing Kittens. Thank you to Emma and her team. And we can't wait for any of you out there that signed up already. There's only a few cabins left, like under 20. So go and check out that and come and see us. Come and hang out with Shameless Sex. We're going to be also podcasting. We're going to be part of all of the immersive experiences as well. So we are so excited to have more shameless sex in this world, and Killing Kittens is bringing that to all of us. So to you listening out there, thank you for being part of our shameless sex community for so many years, almost 9 years now. We've been doing this podcast. I always get teary.
Right. The cruise is could be our celebration. That's like right after our 9-year anniversary.
Our almost a decade. Yeah. So we couldn't do this work without all of you. Please rate us on your favorite listening app. That helps more people find more shameless sex, find more beautiful KK parties, find more empowerment, because the world needs that. It's a dark place sometimes, and we need more sexy, beautiful things. So Your 5-star review helps us achieve that. So thank you to all of you. We love you so much. We'll see you next Tuesday for another episode of Shameless Sex, y'all. Ciao for now, or ciao for meow. Ooh. Yeah.
To learn more, go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off some of our favorite sex toys, use code SHAMELESSSEX at purepleasureshop.com.